Today I'm making tacos de canasta, or you may call them tacos al vapor. I'll be using a simpler, easier way to make these, just like my abuelas. This is gonna be good. So for the filling, I'm going to be using chorizo con papa. Here I have 12 ounces of Mexican chorizo, along with maybe a pound of potatoes. I'm going to prep the potatoes by cutting them into small chunks or cubes. Now you could also boil and cook the potatoes separately from the chorizo, but I like to just use everything in a pan to make life easier, and I'll show you how I do it. I'm going to add the chorizo to a cold pan, and now I'm going to turn on the heat, or my stovetop. And this is going to help render out most of the fat in this chorizo. Now, a lot of people when they make tacos de canasta, they create this chili oil on the side. Well, my grandmother would add extra oil to the chorizo, and eventually, after she cooked it, she would drain it, and that's what she would dip the tortillas in. That's what would give it that reddish color. But you definitely can add maybe a cup of oil to a pot and guajillo chiles and give it a blend, but this was the easier way that she liked to do it. So I've drained out all of the fat from the pan, and I'm just going to add that chorizo that fell into the strainer back into the pan. And here I have the red chili oil that's also flavored with the chorizo that I'll be dipping my corn tortillas in, and it really is flavorful. So now I'm just going to continue cooking the chorizo and add the potatoes. What I'm going to do is add the potatoes into the pan, and I'm going to saute for about 5 minutes. Here I'm going to add some water, maybe about 1.5 cups of water, or 2 cups. Cover with the lid, and I'm just going to let the potatoes soften and cook. This really eliminates me using another pot to boil the potatoes. And now that they're boiling, I'm going to remove the lid and let the water evaporate. In the meantime, I'm going to prep thinly shredded lettuce as a topping, and here is how I'm going to prep the basket. I'm going to line my basket with plastic. This is just a plastic bag. It is kind of oversized, but it'll work. You want it to have some overhang to cover the top of the tacos. So now I'm going to line it with butcher paper. My grandmother actually used to do paper bags for this. And now once you start layering in your warmed cooked tacos, you just cover it up just like this, place the lid, and it just stays warm and steamy, and it's just perfect. It's a soft taco and it's so good. So now that my chorizo and potatoes are cooked and softened, I'm going to start mashing the potatoes. And I'm just going to cook out any residual moisture or water at the bottom of the pan. And you'll want to mash and cook the chorizo and potato until it forms this thick paste-like filling. Okay, so now it's time to start making these tacos. Here I'm going to preheat my griddle over a low heat, nothing on high. And I want to show you. I'm pretty much ready to put these together, and you'll want to have your chili oil. Here's the filling. And I'm going to be using cold corn tortillas. Now, if you can get your hands on fresh tortillas, that is even better. So here's my basket ready to go. And now I'm just sort of going to do this like an assembly line. I'm going to add a little bit of my chili oil to the griddle. And I'm just going to spread that out and start to heat and warm through the corn tortillas. And you want to make sure you kind of give it a flip and get some of the oil on both sides. And all you're doing is heating and softening the corn tortilla. So when you add your filling, when you fold it over, it doesn't break or crack. Now, traditionally, tacos de canasta or tacos al vapor has 3 fillings. You can do potato with chorizo, bean and chorizo, or just plain refried beans, and a meat of chicharrón or even shredded beef. Today, I'm just going with the potato and chorizo because it's just a favorite in the house and it's what I have. There were times that my grandmother would just have ground beef, so she'd season it and add that as the filling along with potatoes. And then to color the corn tortillas, she would warm up cooking oil and add a little bit of paprika into the oil, and that's what she would use. I think she just found that an easier process when making copious amounts of these taquitos. Now that these are cooked and heated through, I'm going to add them into my basket. Now you don't have to use a basket specifically. You could also do this with a pot and a lid. It all works. The whole point is to stack them on top of each other so that the residual heat kind of makes them warmed, hot, and steamy. I'm going to just repeat the process. I'll probably make around 20 to 24 tacos today. Okay, so I have the first layer in my little basket here. So now I'm going to add a layer of thinly sliced onion right on top. And I'll do this twice. This basket isn't very deep, but the sliced onion adds this wonderful aromatic flavor to your tacos, and it's really tasty when you eat them. Here's what I'm going to add to my tacos today. Homemade green salsa. I have some thinly shredded cabbage and some pickled carrots with jalapeno pieces. So these have been hanging out for about 15 minutes. You can see things are nice and steamy and hot. So I'm going to carefully take some of them out and plate them up, and I'll show you how I garnish them. It's very simple and so tasty. I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching!